Hello YouTube and hello Ninth Age community. This is Charles with Evershade Gaming, and I've got another Ninth Age battle report. This is round 3 at the Forest City Fracas. My Ogre cons versus Orcs and Goblins. Let's get into it. I mentioned this in my first video, but I stayed the same spells the entire tournament, so look back at that first video, but essentially I ran Flaming Swords and Pyroclastic Flow on the Firebrand Shaman, and I ran Hand of Heaven and Smite the Unbeliever, and the Hereditary spell from Thaumaturgy and Ogre cons. I got to play against the Justin Silva, Mr. Chihammer himself, and he brought a Pyromancy Master, who was bringing the plane, Flaming Swords. I think Firebomb was Fire, but he's got his own cards, which are very cool. Or that's what it is. He's got a Route of Battle, he's got Pyroclastic Flow, Flaming Swords, Meteor Storm is Scorching Salvo, and Bring the Pain. And he had a Crown of the Wizard King on his big spider, and he rolled Altered Sight. James got to pick table sides, and I deployed first. Again, I kind of did this a lot this tournament, actually. So from the top of the, or bottom of the page to the top, I've got Scratapult, Ogre Cannon, 20 Scrapplings, my 4 Bombardiers, and my Pyromancy Master, a dog. I've got the big block of Tribesmen, my Great Khan, and my Thaumaturgy Shaman. I've got a cannon behind them, 3 more Bombardiers, another Scratapult, and then I've got my 5 more Tribesmen with my BSB, all and them too. I wanted my BSB on his own so I could use my poison shooting, hopefully on his Great Green Idol. And this is kind of another picture of my deployment, turning different direction. We played Refused, Flank, and Breakthrough. And this is James. That's the man himself right there. Let's give it up for Mr. James Silva. But his deployment, starting from right and going to the left, he's got his big spider, which is a Goblin King. He's got his 20 Goblin Archers with BSB and the Pyromancy Master. Got his 3 Goblin Wolf Chariots. He's already vanguarded up his 5 Wolf Cavalry. He's got his 6 Bridge Trolls, another 20 Common Archers behind them, his big unit of Feral Ed Bashers with paired weapons, and Mammoth Stab of full command, Greenhide Banner, his Great Green Idol, his Giant with a Giant Club, another 20 Archers, and then I missed his Wyvern all the way in the back because he didn't want to get shot turn 1. And turn 1, indeed, the Ogres did have. I kind of just vanguarded. I actually trapped the field behind me because I didn't really feel like there was anything good to trap in the middle of the board. I couldn't get into the forest. So I just kind of held that chaff right there. I didn't know if I was going to use them. I didn't know what I was going to really do with them, but I just kind of did that. And turn 1 went really well. Obviously, I didn't really do a whole lot of moving, just turned to shoot with everything. And I put 5 wounds on the Great Green Idol between, I think, maybe a Hand of Heaven, I know a wound from the BSB with his poison shooting, and I think 3 wounds from a cannon. So it was a good turn 1. I can't complain. I also did 4 wounds to the 3 wounds to the spider. Which is also a good start. And I killed, with a partial hit, I killed some Goblins, and with a partial hit, I killed some Orcs. So honestly, great turn 1 shooting, can't complain. And I got rid of the Wolf Cav chaff, so they couldn't bother me. And yeah, I think the Bombardiers of Flaming Swords might have done a wound or 2. I know the cannon hit, I think the Bombardiers did a wound. It was, everything worked really well. So he starts pushing up, he kind of gets aggressive with Great Green Idol because he only got a wound. He moves the Giant up to maybe get a charge. He pushes his Ferals up as much as he can. He moves his Spider up aggressively. And then other than that, he's just kind of zoning with his Chariots. They have a long charge threat range. And yeah, his blocks kind of start creeping forward, but again, not too heavy because I also have a decent bit of threat projection with the Tribesman unit. He gets Altered Sight off of the cannon, which isn't great, but it's okay. He gets a Scorching Salvo off and does a wound in a couple different places, but again, not too terrible. and then going into, or that might have actually just been the different pyromancy spells. I don't think he got a Scorching Salvo off. I think I might have stopped that one. Going into my turn 2, I'm able to chaff his spider with my scraplings. Not in the forest. I think a couple models in the front rank are, but enough not to still be steadfast. I move my Great Khan into the 4 Bombardier unit so that they get Discipline 9. Hopefully they don't break. And then other than that, I just kind of back up as much as I can. I'm able to turn one of my cannons sideways to look at his spider. I'm going to try and see if that can get another shot in. I think I got 2 cannons. I'm hopeful that I can kill his spider this turn, save the scraplings from their terrible death of getting munched by a spider, and then yeah, pretty much just position things. I've got the Bombardier. The 4 Bombardiers are going to work on the Goblin Wolf Chariots. That's another big target for me this turn. Hand of Heaven goes off, I think. Oh, that's right. Hand of Heaven goes off and kills the Great Green Idol, which was a nice start. Didn't have to waste any more shots there, because I did get Flaming Swords on these Bombardiers again, which was nice. I rolled a Misfire here, and I can't shoot for a turn with this Scratapult, so it kind of stinks. James was kind enough to give me a stupid token, which was very kind of him. Another Misfire, unfortunately. This cannon's out of the game. That's a bit of a bummer. And then another 4 wounds on the spider, so I can't complain about that. That's very good. Kill a monster, put another 4 wounds on another monster. I made a pretty good point. I would have liked to have done a little bit more damage against his wolf chariots. I almost killed 2 between, I think, a pyromancy spell and the bombardiers, but the bombardier shooting didn't really go off. I almost wish I had set the bombardiers up a little bit better so that I maybe could have put flaming swords on them and also had them with the ability to maybe shoot the wolf chariots too, but I think different priorities, so didn't quite get 2 wolf chariots, which is a bit of a bummer. So James shoots a warg, and he decides he's charging these 2 units into my tribesman, which he needs, I think, an 11 on the dice for the feral orcs, and maybe only like an 8 or a 9 with the giant. And he makes both, which is pretty huge. And he also makes it in with his wolf chariots into the flank of the scraplings, and of course the spider goes in too, which was also a bit rough. So yeah, kind of a bit of a bummer actually. And then going into his turn, he puts Altered Sight up. I kind of have to let it go. And I try and stop Flaming Swords on my dice, but he gets that too. Just really bad combos. I actually think I made a mistake here thinking back. I want to say I should have duel because I thought, well, maybe I'll see if something survives and gets away. But now that I think about it, I should have let him just wipe out that unit because he was able to overrun with his 2 wolf chariots into my shaman and my Great Khan, which would have been better able to charge something else like the spider or anything else actually, and instead is gonna take some wounds from these chariots before they die. So yeah, in hindsight, I think that was a bit of a blunder, but it is what it is. In my turn 3, this only turn 3. Oh, he does wipe out the orcs in the middle, or the ogres in the middle, no problem. Then he gets into the cannon with just the feral orcs, which is good. I decide I'm going to just take my Scratapult to finish off this last one. It's a bit of a risk, but I felt like I'd rather do that than... I didn't really have a good shot with the cannon, and I wanted to... He moved his Wyvern out the last turn, so I was going to try and deal with that. Yeah, this is... I kind of missed that picture, so here it is, his flank charge into the cannon. And this is what the rest of the board looks like. So I'm able to back up one of my Scratapults. I'm able to back up my dog. I'm able to sort of turn my my other tribesman unit to look at his big block of ferals. I'm able to move my bombardiers around to kind of shoot at his giant some more. And yeah, I think my goal is just to whittle down the giant, get rid of that with shooting maybe, and then yeah, just sort of weather these goblin chariots and spider, and then see what I can do against these trolls. I do get flaming swords off, and I'm able to kill the spider, which was pretty awesome. And then he kills the cannon, no problem. Thankfully, he's kind of a little. He's like just an inch from his giant, so he didn't really have a good chance to. He wanted to, he was thinking about, oh, it'd be nice to reform, but then he wouldn't be able to charge, so, and he couldn't really pivot, so he actually just ends up, I think he does end up reforming to look at the tribesmen. Or maybe he even does that on his turn, I can't remember. We kill the chariots, we lose the rest of the, we lose the rest of the bombardier unit. There's only one guy left at that point, and he didn't do any wounds to my shaman, but he does get a wound on my Great Khan. So he just moves his trolls up to chaff my characters. He's just gonna. I mean, he's got pyromancy still. He can sling at the Great Khan. Doesn't really do a whole lot to the shaman, but he's also got bow shots he can put on the shaman. He doesn't have much of an armor save. And then he chaffs the tribesman with his giant. He kind of moves his wyvern up in a way to get some different angles. And then, I mean, I've kind of been. Oh, that's right. He was able to. I think he charged his wyvern at my bombardiers. They fled, and then kind of got away over there. They didn't cause any panics, thankfully. And then, we just kind of go into the rest of his turn 3. I think at this point. This was actually kind of mind-boggling. So I had a shot on his wyvern my last turn, and I hit and I wounded, but he made his 5 up Aegis. And I still had a full wound cannon, and he just took it off with pyromancy and his shooting. Just some good dice on his part, and some just like no armor saves on my part for the things I had armor saves against. So that was a bit of a bummer. I was looking forward to taking another shot at that wyvern, seeing if I couldn't hit, wound, and get through that, because it's pretty easy for a thunder cannon to take off a 4-wound flying creature. And then other than that, going into my turn 4, I charge the giant and I chaff up his ferals. I also charge my 2 characters and my Scratapult into his trolls. Kind of confident I think I can get rid of them all. With I haven't used my breath weapon yet. It's a decent amount of impact hits. The Great Khan's got D3 wounds. I'm kind of optimistic. I'm just gonna take it to them pretty hard, and then we'll see what maybe the Scratapult can do afterwards, and what the characters do. It's not quite sure what that's gonna look like, but we'll see. Not a whole lot of moving otherwise. That's just another picture of that. I do get the Rod of Battle off. I do lose the Pyromancy Mage. It looks like he might have actually took 2 wounds from those chariots, now I think about it. And then he gets killed by the trolls. And then I decided to overrun with the Scratapult because I'm going to try and threaten some of those back units. And I didn't want to get my Great Khan in line of sight of his Wyvern dude, although in hindsight I almost wish I brought it in, because in his turn he just, again, between Pyromancy and his shooting, he gets rid of my Scratapult, and then he kills my Great Khan too. I just couldn't make any Aegis saves. I just couldn't make anything I had a save with. I just couldn't make it, and he was wounding with all his blazes. It was pretty rough. We killed the giant, no problem, and he killed the dog, no problem. So then we charged the tribesman in the chariot, and we end up beating his Edvashers. We take a lot of wounds on the tribesman, but that's okay. It is breakthrough, though, and he's able to get this Goblin Archer unit just barely into my deployment. And I actually, at some point, this tribesman unit took I think lost an Ogre, failed a Disciplinate rerollable break check, ran away, rallied on an 8, turned around, and then I think the tribesman gets shot off. Oh, yeah. So I tried one shot with the Scratapult to see if I could get the archers. I missed. Couldn't get them to panic. He flies this guy over here just for kicks and giggles. I want to say this is like his last turn. Takes a wound from the ribs. It's funny. And then he shoots off the rest of the tribesmen or magics them off, and then like puts 3 wounds on with his shooting or something. I don't know. This guy's only got a 3-up armor save, but he was also like again, he was just putting wounds on him. It was pretty nuts. And unfortunately, this is where it ends for the Ogre cons.
I'm gonna YouTube short.
All right, you tell the group how the game went, because
it was fantastic. We had a great time.
Yes.
It was really tight. We're not gonna say the score, right? Or are you gonna say the score?
I say the score because it's gonna be at the end of my video.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Okay, well you can say it.
All right. Oh, I got a 16. You got a 4.
I got a 4.
I honestly, we were getting shot to shit. I was getting shot to shit.
Yep.
And I decided to just take the long bomb charge with the wog. I needed 11, and I got it on 2 dice without even forgetting I had a wog.
Huge. I mean, it was only turn 2. We're barely into this game, and these feral orc adventures are flying across the board.
Yes, they are.
It was fun, and I feel like I picked up as many points as I could throughout. And you had some spicy magic at the end of the game too that really helped things turn out too. So
we're looking at 2 cameras. He's filming me, filming him.
So James, thank you.
Oh, thank you, man. I gotta shake you in my left here.
That was a fun little video we recorded together. I did YouTube shorts the whole weekend. Again, if you haven't seen them, check them out. They were pretty fun. And that was my short that I posted on that day. And James has been also taking videos and putting them at the end of his video, so we kind of did a little collab, you could say. At the end of the day, John Oakes is in first place with Mike Maddox in second, Andrew Ratman, Mike Smith, Harold Irick with his UD, and then James Silva and Jeff Durham. I finished round 3 with 30 points overall. I got a 20. I got a 4 against James, I want to say, and I got a 6 in my first round. So thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see how the rest of this tournament comes out, and we'll see you soon with another 9th Age Battle Report.